Hello, Smurf. We have a Smurfy with us today. Boy. It's very smoky in here. It's lovely. Hello, who's that we've got? Who's here already? I'm just having my tea. We're not starting yet. This is kind of the before bit, okay? I hope you're all well. We've had snow today. Snow. I didn't believe the weathermen when they said, "Oh, it's going to snow this weekend." Yeah, I didn't believe it. It's now laying on the ground outside on the roads. So I hope Ian gets home okay. He's in Surrey at the moment. So I hope he gets home okay. So tonight is a dark moon. So a dark moon, just for those of you who might not know what a dark moon is the absence of moonlight. For me anyway, some people see it as the new moon. But to me, it makes more sense that it's the lack of moonlight, because there are at least one, sometimes 2 or 3 nights in the month where there is no lunar light, as we call it. And that's what's known as a dark moon. So for any of you who have not, I think we've done one other dark moon ritual. Oh, the dog's gone. I'm not paying any attention. It's outrageous. So I think we've done one dark moon ritual so far on this kind of live feed thing. So this one's going to be slightly different. There will be guided meditations, or a guided meditation, as I say, where you will get to meet Hekate at her crossroads. And it's a really cool meditation. It actually makes me cry when I listen to it. Because it is so nice. Who's that? Hi, Magda. How are you? Good, I hope. So I've got oil on my head. I was like, what's that? It's oil. The oil, in case you're wondering, you can't really see the name of that, but I make my own incense and oil for Hekate. That's what I've got. I've put on my head and I've forgotten. I was like, what's that? And the other one I use, where did I get this from? Oh, God, I can't remember. Treadwell's. They're a witchy place, bookshop, kind of event place in London. Excellent. Magda. This is abramelin, I think I'm pronouncing that right, oil. It's a blend of cassia and cinnamon. It's Crowley blend, Aleister Crowley's particular blend. I think I've spoke about this one before, because when I first got it, it says, don't put it on your third eye. So I thought, yeah, let's put it on my third eye. And it's like, ouch. So don't put it on your third eye. Hang on. Let me get a bit closer. Can the key be a key we use regularly? It can be a key that you carry with you. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Thank you, Tracy. So I was just talking about the oil. And I always put this on 3 dots on the palm of my left hand, because that's incoming, and then I rub them together. And you'd be amazed at the, I don't know what you call it, because you've got chakras, if you like, in the palms of your hands. So if you anoint any oil in the palms of your hands, it adds to your magic, because these are your magic tools, yeah? Don't really need any others, to be quite honest. So these are your magic tools. And so when you put this particular blend, and you can use any oil blend, but this particular one is very magical, and it does strange things. Well, when you put it on your third eye, it's things like buggery, so don't do that. But that's called, I think I'm pronouncing this right, a bromelain oil. Yeah, you could probably Google search it. But I got that in from Treadwell's in London. Very cool shop. I think they deliver worldwide. I think. So yes, dark moon tonight. Oh my god, I can't see that. I don't know if it's my eyes or the smoke. Okay, 6 o'clock. Okie dokie. So, order of service, if you like. We will be grounding, energizing, using the 4-4-8 breath. I'm going to cast the circle Widdershins, so that's counterclockwise, which is what I did on the last dark moon. So Widdershins is going, like I say, counterclockwise from west. So you go west, get this right, west, south, east, north. Yeah. It's because I'm sitting the other way today, so all my directions are all over the place. So if you want to, you can walk the circle with me. So as long as you know where, you know, one of the cardinal points is, then you can walk from there, from west. Well, you need to know where west is more than anything, okay? So you can walk it with me if you like, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Hi, Kipperly. Hi, Joanna. Hang on. What's that? What's that? I'm a new member. Oh, cool. Excellent. Hey, cool. Okay. So I'm going to cast a circle with the shins, counterclockwise. I'm going to call the elements. And then I'm going to use the drum and a chant. Now, I did post the words for the chants in the event comments, so I don't know if you've seen it or not. The very simple words, so if you haven't looked at them, it's gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. So it's quite simple. So when you want to join in with a drum, if you want to, or with your words, that's good. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can just listen. Hi, Wendy. So then there'll be a prayer to Hekate. And then with your keys, the reason you have keys, yes, is because she is the keeper of the key of knowledge. And in this particular guided meditation I'm going to take you through, there are 3 keys. Shall I remember? Knowledge, magic, and intuition. I remembered. So knowledge, magic, and intuition. So where are my 3 keys? I did have them on. I have got them on. I have got them on. I'm wearing my 3 little keys at the moment. Yeah, you can't really see that. And I've got my 3 keys on my mala as well, which I made the other day. So that's going to get a nice charge this evening, my mala. So the idea is during the guided meditation, you're going to have your 3 keys, or your 1 key. If you haven't got 3, that's fine. You can have just 1 key. And that will get charged for when you need any of those particular things. So wisdom, intuition, or magic. Yeah, so you can use that key. Your key is literally a key. It becomes a talisman. Yeah, I have one here. It's an old, let's go that way a bit. You can see that properly. Whee! It's an old iron skeleton key. And the really cool thing about iron, its magical powers are such that it can facilitate the crossing of the veil. Yeah, so if you want to communicate with your ancient ancestors, or your not so ancient ancestors, you can use a piece of iron or an iron key, whatever you have to hand, and that will help you to contact. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's go for a walk. That will help you contact your ancestors. Okay, so there'll be the guided meditation. And then after that, I'm just going to do a little bit of soft drumming with my Hekate drum. And then we will devoke Hekate, the elements, and close the circle. Might do Q&A afterwards if anyone's got any questions afterwards. Yeah, then that's cool. Let me just sort this incense out. Oh my goodness, it's going out. Okay, so got any more? No. Okay. Right. So we're going to ground using. I will light the candles, by the way, once I've cast a circle, because I don't want to catch myself on fire. So when I light these two candles, you can light your. If you're lighting a candle, you can light that candle at the same time. Yeah. Put some incense on if you like as well. Okay. So we're going to ground through using the visualization of the roots. So the roots go down through the base of the spine or down through the feet, whatever works for you. So it's like a tree. So your roots are going down into the earth. And this is just one way to ground, yeah? So see those roots going down into the earth. And you'll start to feel like the bottom half of your body is kind of heavy. And you might even begin to sway. That's all good, yeah? Just let it do it. Okay. So keep imagining those roots going down. Breathing. Don't hold your breath. Ever. This, of course, you're swimming underwater, then you might need to. Breathing. Imagining those roots going down into the earth. It's always very important when you're doing any kind of magic work to ground before and after. Yeah. Breathing. Okay. So you're all feeling nice and grounded. And there's, when you ground like that, there's a centeredness that comes as well. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to energize the body. And we're going to do this using a 4-4-8 breath pattern. Yeah. So if 4-4-8 is too much, then you can do 2-2-4. Okay. You can halve it. So what we do is we breathe in for the count of 4. We suspend the breath at the top for a count of 4. And then we breathe out for a count of 8. Okay? Are you ready? So we're going to breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Suspend the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Suspend the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Suspend the breath. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just let the breath return to normal. So what that's done is relaxed you completely, but it's allowed your mind to become receptive. Okay. You've entered that receptive brainwave state through that breath work. Okay. So I'm going to cast my circle using my new wooden athame that I got from Mother's Day. It's very cool. And this is bog oak and yew. So it's perfect for Hekate. Okay. So again, if you want to, you can join in walking the circle. If not, that is fine. Okay. So we're going to start in the west. We're going to walk counterclockwise. If you're using your athame or your wand or your index finger, then that points down at the ground. So your energy is flowing down through your instrument, okay? I summon this circle. This circle I summon. Power, peace, and protection come in and bind to the womb of our spiritual birth through water and fire and air and earth. I summon the circle. The circle I summon. Power, peace, and protection come in and bind to the womb of our spiritual birth through water and fire and air and earth. I summon the circle. The circle I summon. Power, peace, and protection come in and bind to the womb of our spiritual birth through water and fire and air and earth. Take a couple of breaths. So if you're not at West, so if you're participating, if you're not at West, get West now. And then if you're using a tool, pointing that down at the ground. May our sacred space be born from the waters of the West. Bring forth the power to accept. And then with your athame, we're going to draw a line of energy all the way around to the south. Again, pointing your tool down at the ground. May our sacred space be warmed by the fires of the south. Bring forth the power to surrender. Again, draw that line of energy round. Come round to the east. Point the tool down at the ground. May our sacred space be animated by the breath of life. Bring forth the power to wonder. And then round, drawing that line of energy round to the north. Point your tool down at the ground. May our sacred space be created by the womb of the earth. Bring forth the power to resonate. And then drawing that line all the way back round to the west. So we've completed our circle. Take a couple of breaths. And then coming back to seated. So I'm going to get us nice and energized with the drum and the chant. Gracious Hecate's sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. And we're going to start quite shushy. Yeah, because we're going to build it. We're going to experiment with building that energy. Yeah, so we're going to start the chants in quite hushed tones, if you like. Yeah, and the drum will be hushed as well. And then we're going to build that energy with the voice and with the drum. Yeah, so you feel that energy building inside you. Okay. So you can join in with the drum. You can join in with the drum and the words. You can join in with just the words, or you can just sit back and take it all in. Okay. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call on this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Sacred Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call in this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Sacred Hekate, gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, on thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire, dark hour. Sacred Hekate, sacred Hekate, gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Sacred Hekate, gracious Hekate, sacred fire. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call this dark hour. Gracious Hekate, sacred fire. On thee we call in this dark hour. Thank you, Smurf. Was that better? Is that? Thank you. So I'm just going to recite a prayer to Hekate and then light the candles. The earth began to bellow, trees to dance, and howling dogs in glimmering light advance. Ere Hekate came. Hekate, queen of witches, crone goddess, you who stand with grace at the veil, and who holds the key to knowledge. Glorious Hekate, open the door to my soul. Hold your lantern high to share your light with us, and that I might see clearly. We bid you hail and welcome. Hail and welcome. So I want you to grab your key or keys, plural. Okay. I have to put mine on my lap because the dog's on my lap. So get yourself comfortable. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths into the belly. Breathing in. And just go with a sigh. And again, breathe in. And let that go. One more time, breathe in. And let it go. So closing your eyes. Picture yourself walking safely along a dark, gravelled path on a quiet, clear autumn night. It is late, and as you look to the east, you see a waning moon rising slowly over the tree line. The sounds of the night are quiet and calm, and you can hear the crickets singing off in the distance, while the mournful hoot of a screech owl drifts over to you. You walk confidently forward, enjoying the solitude and companionable sound of the crunch of the gravel beneath your feet. Your breath makes little puffs of white steam in the chill of the evening air. Up ahead, you can see a flickering light. It is a torch mounted to the post marking the crossroads. And as you make your way closer, you can make out small offerings of food left neatly at the base of the signpost. Others have been here to honor Hekate before you. There is a small basket of apples, a plaque depicting the triple Hekate, and a few loaves of bread. Someone has left what appears to be a small jar of honey. Your hands tighten on the small wrapped bundle of homemade bread that you carry. As you approach the crossroads, a breeze picks up and a swirl of autumn leaves rushes through the crossroads. You stop for a moment to take in the captivating scene and approach the torch-lit area as quietly as possible with a calm reverence. You prepare to leave your gift and offer up a quiet prayer to Hekate. You are very aware of your surroundings and perfectly comfortable being alone on this night. Still, there is something in the air that makes you stay on guard. You turn your head this way and that, trying to account for the sense that something is happening. Suddenly, the sound of howling dogs erupts in the peace. The breeze that sent leaves playfully dancing has now whipped up into a much stronger force. A rush of bracing cold air swirls past you, making you gasp, accompanied by a whirl of rusty leaves. Birds awaken and begin singing in the middle of the night. It is a beautiful but eerie song. The wind whips around you, and you battle to keep your hair out of your eyes. You look around. A rumbling noise is growing in its intensity. You feel the earth tremble beneath your feet, and you instinctively make a grab for the signpost as you try to keep yourself upright. Then, as quickly as it began, the maelstrom fades, and the night falls to silence once more. Shaken, you right yourself and realize that you have dropped your offering. Concerned, you crouch down to pick up the little cloth-wrapped bundle and carefully brush a few dead leaves from the wrapping. As you look around, you realize that the other offerings, once arranged so neatly, are now in disarray. Without a thought, you immediately begin to straighten them back out. You lean the plaque against the signpost and return the apples quickly to their basket. A trio of old-fashioned keys catches your eye. Intrigued, you pick them up and admire their shapes and textures. Carefully, you place the keys on the little jar of honey. Smiling, you look around for any missed items and prepare to rise to your feet. A prickling at the base of your neck is the first indication that you are no longer alone. As you turn slowly to look behind you, a large black dog comes barreling out of the darkness and is running straight at you. There is no time to be afraid. Your eyes widen, and the next thing you know, the dog has knocked you flat on your back and is affectionately greeting you. Your initial shriek of alarm gives way to helpless laughter as you vainly attempt to get the dog off your chest so you can sit up. After a few moments of laughing struggle, you manage to collar the dog and sit upright again. "Where did you come from?" you ask your new canine friend. As an answer, the dog barks again at you in a friendly way and sniffs you all over. You sling an arm around your new friend and wonder who the animal belongs to. As you give the dog's ears a good scratch, he suddenly goes on alert and sits rigidly still, seemingly to be at attention. You look up to see what has captured the interest of the dog and notice a woman is silently approaching you. Her sandaled feet are noiseless on the gravel path, and she is draped from head to foot in a richly textured black hooded cape. As she approaches, an owl swoops down from the tree line and lands gracefully on the top of the signpost. A sentinel. It blinks its wide eyes at you and ruffles its feathers. Your heart is hammering in your chest as you quickly rise to your feet to greet the lady. You bow your head and murmur a greeting As she walks into the flickering light cast by the torch, you look upon her face to discover that she is a regal, middle-aged woman wearing a silver crown. In an instant, she appears as a young woman, dark and beautiful, then as an elderly woman with a mass of wrinkles and a shock of white, wild hair. Back and forth, her image shifts and flows from one into another. The one thing that is constant is her eyes. They are ageless. They're deep jet black, sparkling, and with a kindness and wisdom that radiates outwards. No matter which face she shows you, her eyes and expression in them remain the same. Her hands rise to her hood, and she pushes it back so you can fully look upon her. Pay attention to how Hekate appears to you. Greetings, she says softly, in a voice that rustles like dry leaves. I thank you for caring for my sacred place. She nods toward the items that you have just straightened out. You smile, and she looks at you very carefully. You have no fear of me. This is a statement, and it pleases her. She continues by saying, many who are unprepared for my mysteries are afraid. They believe I am the one who brings death, but they are mistaken, for I do not. I am the midwife who assists you into the world, and the wise one who escorts you into the next. Hekate holds out her hand, and the 3 old metal keys that you were admiring appear in her palm. She silently hands them to you as her hair whips around in the cold wind. Deeply honored, you silently close your fist around them. I leave you with these 3 gifts, my child, she tells you quietly. Knowledge, intuition, and magic. Hold these keys close to your heart, and if you ever have need of me, know that I will be there. You clasp the keys to your chest, and a curious warmth is coming from inside your own body. You bow your head and whisper your thanks. Hekate holds up a hand, and the owl silently leaps from the signpost and flies over to circle over the goddess's head. With a single call, the owl swoops off and into the darkness. Hekate then pulls up her hood and smiles at you one last time. As she turns to leave, the dog leaps to her side and follows her down the path. A mist, rising from the ground, seems to swallow them up as they disappear from your view. Look around you now and focus on your image of the sacred crossroads. Keep this visualization in place. Should you ever wish to return here, it will be waiting for you. Feel the warmth of Hecate's gifts of knowledge, intuition, and magic burning bright within yourself. Then take a deep breath and begin to come back. Beginning your journey back home along the gravel path. Becoming aware of the crunching underfoot of stones and dead leaves. Until gradually your footsteps bring you back to this room, sitting on the floor. Feel the floor beneath you. Bring your attention to your breath. Feel your breath. Hear your breath. Taking 3 slightly longer, deeper breaths into your belly. Each breath slowly bringing you back to center, to grounded, back home. Breathing. So if you want to, you can rub palms of the hands together. And then place the palms over the eyes. This just helps to wake up the eyes, the body. And you can release and open your eyes when you're ready. Or if you want to, you can keep the eyes closed, because I'm just going to do some very light drumming. Just to please excuse the dog. So if you haven't already opened your eyes, open your eyes. So you should feel nice and grounded again. Okay. So we're going to say cheerio to Hekate and to the elements. So when I devoke the elements, I'm not going to walk it, but when I close the circle, I will walk it. Okay, so if you want to join in with the closing of the circle, that's fine. So if you want to, you can snuff the candle when we say cheerio to Hekate. Otherwise, you can let it burn. Okay, as long as it's somewhere safe, obviously. Hekate glorious, we thank you for joining us on this eve of darkness. We thank you for your guidance and your wisdom. Stay if you will, go if you must, and we bid you hail and farewell. Hail and farewell. Farewell to the guardians of the north, east, south, and west. Leave from us here, return to thy sphere. So I'm going to take my athame. So we're going to start from the north and we're going to go clockwise. So north, east, south, west. Okay. If you are walking the circle with me. Okay. Earth will crumble this circle. Winds will tear at the clay. Fire will burn what's left in the urn, and water will wash it away. Earth will crumble this circle. Winds will tear at the clay. Fire will burn what's left in the urn, and water will wash it away. Earth will crumble this circle. Winds will tear at the clay. Fire will burn what's left in the urn, and water will wash it away. May the circle be open but unbroken. May the god and the goddess be ever in your hearts. Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. Bright blessings, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. For me, it's quite amazing. The first time I did it, it was like, oh my god. So I have to come a bit closer to read those comments. Can't see. Can't read them. Oh. I like your fireplace. This is an amazing little gadget. Not eBay, Amazon. It's a little flickery, flamey thing. Yes, it's not real fire. I'm not putting my hand in fire. Yeah, it's just some sticks and some flashy lights. It's very cool because we don't have a real fireplace. We don't have one. There's a little snake there as well, and a little pussycat. Yeah, it's very cool. It does usually flicker a bit more than that. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share about what they experienced there? If I sit a bit closer, I'll be able to read your comments. Oh, I'm caught up in my dress. Love the meditation. It's a really nice meditation, actually. I think I remember tweaking the original because I love like painting the picture of where you're going. So I think I tweaked the original that I found. Meditation was so beautiful. I thought this is a salt lamp. No, it's not a salt lamp. It's a flicker flame lamp. Some of them are better than others. This one's pretty good, actually. It doesn't make a lot of noise, and it's got enough of a whoosh that it makes the material flicker. It's very cool. We bought it for Samhain last year, actually, and we use it all the time, even when it's not Sabbath. Does anyone have any questions or anything about what we did, or would you like to share any experiences? How did Hekate appear to you, for example? Did she appear as a young maiden or crone? Appeared with white flowing hair and a beautiful glow. Wow, that's very cool. Oh, that's wicked. Did she say anything to any of you? I'm always very nosy about what people experience during these meditations, because some of the people that I've taught in the past have like mad visuals, and others goes like, no, well, it was all right. So everyone's different, yeah. So you might have really mad visuals, but you might have just, you know, gone to sleep, for example. Yeah, it's fine if you go to sleep. That doesn't matter. As long as you wake up afterwards. Okay, so if no one's got any more questions, I will just say what I've got on the altar. So I've got my key. Just tell you what I've got on the altar. That's my new athame. It's yew and 5,000-year-old bog oak. Sorry. There's a guy on Amazon who makes these, and it's a beautiful piece of kit. And that's my wand. That's a yew wand. A bit of black moonstone. So the same as the mala. That's black moonstone as well. I've got my new pendulum, Nummite pendulum, which I am going to program especially for Hekate, because it's Nummite is all about magic and knowledge, so it's perfect for her. She just smiled at me, and I felt totally loved and comfortable. Oh my god, that is so cool. Tracy says she appeared as a maiden to me. I've definitely seen her before in my meditations. Explore further. Definitely explore that further. Crystals you can use, black moonstone, obviously. This is, I think, right, it's not jet. I think that's obsidian. I think it's obsidian. I can't remember. I bought them so long ago. But any kind of black stones are good for Hekate. And I've also got a hagstone there, which I found many years ago on a beach. So hagstones are good as well. I've also got a really odd little, it's a little twig, but it's a crossroads. It's a fork in the road. Yeah, to me that resembles the three faces of the goddess, but also, you know, that's a choice. That's a path. Yeah, it's a funny little twig thing, which sits on the altar with Hekate. I've got some garlic and some bread in there as an offering. I've got water with some blood in it as well. And it's my little snake. It's not a real snake. It's my little snake that sits on there with her. Yeah, and my skull, obviously, which we found. We found this after years of wanting one, but not one that seemed a little bit contrived. We found this, and it was all beaten up and bashed about. So we're like, we'll take that home and look after it. Okay. So if no one else has got any questions, I'm going to say, cut the top of my head off. I'm going to say cheerio, and I hope you enjoyed this, and it looks like you did. And we've got a new moon tomorrow. Okay, so that will be all about setting an intention for something that you want to expand into, if you like, through the waxing moon. Okay, so I think I put this in the notes for the event. You're going to want a pen and a small piece of paper, preferably a piece of paper that's not got lots of chemicals in it, yeah, because you're going to burn it, or a bay leaf, because a bay leaf is excellent for burning your intentions on, yeah. So piece of paper or a bay leaf and a pen to write on. You will need something like a cauldron or a small saucepan or whatever you burn your loose incense in, if you burn loose incense. I suppose if all else fails, terracotta pot with soil in it will be fine. And you'll need a candle to light your intention on fire. What do we do with the offerings after? Okay, you can either take them to a crossroads like we did in the meditation. We're lucky, we've got a little woodland near us, so we go to there's quite a few little crossroads in there, but we go to one in particular in that woodland, and we just put it down on the floor, and then the animals can eat it. So you can either do that, or you can bury it in the earth, or if you've got a compost bin, you can put it in your compost bin, because then it's still going back to the earth. Okay, so you got three different ways to deal with your offerings. Okay, so it's entirely up to you. I quite like the going down the woods, and I'm not going to do it today because it's snowing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cold. So yeah, I mean, I suppose the one I enjoy the most is going to the woods at night when it's all dark and there's no one there, and and leaving that at the crossroads. Yeah, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I'm going to go and I'm going to have my dinner. And I will see you tomorrow for the new moon. And then Magic Monday, which is now only for this time on Tuesday. Okay. Right, blessings, and I will see you tomorrow.